The old Rivergate Mall had been abandoned for a decade, its storefronts boarded up, escalators frozen, and parking lot a mess of cracked pavement. When I took the overnight security job, I figured it'd be easy cash. Just sit in a booth, watch grainy cameras, and do some homework. But every night at 3 a.m., I heard footsteps echoing through the empty halls. Slow, deliberate, like someone was walking toward me. The cameras never showed anything. Until last night, when I saw it standing there, holding my phone, the one I'd lost weeks ago. My name's Ethan, a sophomore at the local community college, scraping by on loans and instant noodles. When I saw the ad for a night security guard at Rivergate Mall, paying $15 an hour for basically nothing, I jumped at it. The job was straightforward. Monitor the cameras, patrol the perimeter every 2 hours, and keep out squatters or vandals. The mall was a ghost town, shuttered since the early 2000s after a bunch of stores went bankrupt. It was creepy. Dusty mannequins still stood in some shop windows, and the food court reeked of old grease. But I thought I could handle a little weirdness for that paycheck. The first night was quiet. I sat in the security booth, a tiny room with a bank of old CRT monitors flickering with black and white feeds of the mall's corridors. The buzz of the fluorescent lights overhead was my only company. Around 1 a.m., I did my first patrol, flashlight in hand, sweeping the beam across cracked tiles and graffiti-covered walls. The silence was heavy, broken only by the occasional drip from a leaky pipe. I was back at the booth by 1:30, scrolling through my phone until my shift ended at 6 a.m. The second night, though, things got weird. At exactly 3 a.m., I heard footsteps. Not the sharp click of shoes, but a slow, dragging shuffle, like someone was sliding their feet across the floor. It came from the main concourse, just outside the booth's door. I froze, my hand hovering over the radio clipped to my belt. The cameras showed nothing, just empty hallways stretching into darkness. I told myself it was the building settling, maybe a rat, but the footsteps didn't stop. They got louder, closer, then faded away after a minute. My heart was racing, but I didn't dare open the door to check. The next night, it happened again. 3 a.m., same slow shuffle, same empty cameras. I called my boss, a gruff guy named Carl, who just laughed. "Old buildings creak, kid. Don't let it mess with you." I wanted to quit, but I needed the money. So I kept showing up, night after night, dreading that 3 a.m. mark. By the end of the first week, I'd started bringing earbuds to drown out the sound, blasting music to keep my nerves steady. Then, 2 weeks into the job, I lost my phone. I'd set it on the desk in the booth during my shift, and when I went to grab it at the end of the night, it was gone. I tore the booth apart, checked every corner of the mall during my patrols, but it was like the thing had disappeared. I was mad. Replacing it would wipe out half my savings, but there was nothing I could do. The next night, the footsteps came again, louder than ever. I yanked off my earbuds, staring at the monitors. That's when I saw it. On camera 7, covering the north wing near the old J.C. Penney, there was a figure. It stood still in the middle of the frame, too far to see clearly. It was tall, human-like, but off. Its arms hung too low, its head tilted at a weird angle. My breath caught in my throat. I switched to the other cameras, but they showed nothing. Just camera 7. I grabbed my flashlight and radio, heart pounding, and bolted out of the booth. The north wing was a 5-minute walk, but I ran, my sneakers smacking the tiles. When I got there, the hallway was empty. No figure, no sound, just dust floating in my flashlight's beam. I checked every corner, every boarded-up storefront. Nothing. Back at the booth, I rewound the footage. The figure was gone from the recording, like it had never been there. I didn't sleep that day. I kept replaying the image in my head, the way it stood, the way it stared at the camera. I called in sick the next night, but Carl wasn't having it. "One more no-show and you're done," he snapped. So I dragged myself back, swearing I'd quit after one more shift. Last night broke me. At 3 a.m., the footsteps started again, but this time, they didn't fade. They got closer, circling the booth. I locked the door, hands shaking, and glued my eyes to the monitors. Camera 7 flickered, and there it was again, the figure, but now it was closer, standing under a flickering skylight. Its face was still too blurry to make out, but in its hand, it held something small and rectangular. My stomach dropped. It looked exactly like my phone.
I switched cameras like crazy, trying to track it. Camera 6, empty. Camera 5, empty. Camera 4, there. It was moving, lurching toward the concourse leading to the booth. I grabbed the radio. "Carl, there's someone in the mall. Call the cops." Static crackled back. No answer. The footsteps were right outside now, slow and deliberate, scraping the floor. I backed away from the door, clutching my flashlight like a club. Then, my phone rang. Not the booth's landline, my cell phone. The ringtone echoed faintly from outside the door. I hadn't heard that sound in weeks. My blood ran cold. The monitors went black, one by one, until only camera 1, right outside the booth, was left. The figure filled the screen, its head tilted, its arm raised. In its hand was my phone, the screen glowing with an incoming call. The caller ID showed my name. The door handle jiggled. I screamed, stumbling back, and the lights in the booth flickered out. The footsteps stopped. Silence. I don't know how long I stood there, frozen, waiting for the door to burst open. It never did. When the lights came back on, the monitors were normal. The cameras showed empty hallways. My phone was on the desk, right where I'd left it weeks ago. The call log was empty. I grabbed it and ran, sprinting through the mall, out the exit, and into the morning light.